The sand was still warm from the fading sun, but the moment my eyes caught Kai standing barefoot at the edge of the water, everything inside me turned unsteady. He was laughing, tossing his damp shirt over one shoulder, and the breeze whipped through his sandy blonde hair like it belonged to him. I told myself I was here just for the ocean, for the quiet escape of this cove only we knew. But the truth was, I couldn't stop tracing every detail of him. I thought the tide would pull me under, but it was Kai's smile that nearly drowned me first. I sank down onto the towel, brushing sand off my calves. My tank clung to me where the salt water hadn't quite dried, and I tipped my sunglasses higher into my messy hair. From the corner of my eye, I watched him wade into the shallows. His swim shorts clung to his frame, water glistening over his skin, catching the last streaks of sunlight. "Are you coming in, or do I have to drag you?" Kai called, voice teasing over the crash of waves. I shook my head, grinning. "You'd have to carry me." He smirked, pushing his hair back with one hand. "Don't tempt me." The way he said it wasn't just playful. It lingered, like he wasn't joking at all. I grabbed a bottle from the cooler, condensation dampening my fingers. My throat felt dry, though not from thirst. I watched him dive beneath a wave, re-emerge, shake water from his hair, and for a heartbeat, I forgot to breathe. By the time he trudged back up the sand, drops sliding down his chest, my pulse was a mess. He dropped beside me, his damp arm brushing mine, his grin softer now, almost searching. "You always sit out here like the sand's safer than the water," he said, leaning back on his hands. "Maybe it is." He tilted his head, studying me with those ocean blue eyes that always seemed too direct. "Or maybe you just like watching." His words landed too close to the truth, and I couldn't hide the flush rising in my sun-browned skin. The music from the little speaker hummed low between us, the kind of indie song that stretched out like twilight itself. The breeze cooled where the sun had burned, and I noticed the goosebumps along my arms. Kai noticed too, without a word. He tugged his open shirt from where it was draped and laid it across my shoulders. His knuckles grazed my collarbone in exchange, feather-light but enough to make my chest tighten. "You'll freeze when the sun drops," he said. I swallowed, the weight of his shirt strangely grounding and electrifying at once. "And what about you?" He shrugged. "I run hotter." I laughed. But deep down, I knew he wasn't just talking about the weather. The waves rolled, steady and relentless, but time between us slipped into something uneven. I wanted to break it with words, but every glance he gave me stripped my sentences before they could form. Instead, I filled with a charm on my necklace, a small silver compass. He reached out, fingers brushing the chain, holding it between us. "Still chasing north?" he murmured. I met his gaze, softer now, hesitant. Maybe I've already found it. For once, his teasing vanished. The ocean filled the silence, and his hand lingered near mine, close enough that I could feel the heat rising from his skin even as the sand cooled under us. In that fragile breath, I knew the tide wasn't the only thing pulling me closer. It was him. The horizon burned with orange fading into indigo, and everything else, the waves, the music, the entire cove blurred, leaving only Kai, watching me like he'd been waiting for this moment longer than either of us had dared admit. The last edge of the sun melted into the horizon, and the cove slipped into a softer, golden twilight. The tide whispered against the rocks, and I could hear the faint rattle of shells tumbling with each wave. But all I could feel was Kai beside me, the weight of his presence, the heat radiating off his skin even as the air cooled. The world was fading into night, but every second seemed to sharpen the space between his breath and mine. Kai leaned back, stretching his legs into the sand, his knee brushing mine. It was a small thing, casual maybe, but my pulse caught anyway. He looked out the horizon, lips parted like he was on the edge of saying something, then shut them again, shaking his head with a faint smile. "What?" I asked, nudging him lightly. He exhaled, a laugh tangled in his breath. "Just you, sitting here, acting like you're trying to memorize the sky instead of what's right in front of you." The words landed heavier than the playful tone he tried to give them. He made it sound like a joke, but his eyes said he wasn't laughing. The speaker buzzed as the playlist shifted, low chords humming under the rhythm of waves. I leaned back on my elbows, pretending to be relaxed even as my chest tightened. Kai's shoulder brushed mine, deliberate this time, and he didn't pull away. I caught the scent of salt water clinging to him, mixed with the faint warmth of his skin. My fingers dug lightly into the sand just to keep steady. He tilted toward me, voice low. Do you ever wonder why it's always us? Why it's always you and me here, like nobody else matters? My throat went dry. I think about it. The truth slipped out before I could stop it, and suddenly there was no going back. For a long moment, he just looked at me. The kind of look that stripped me down to nothing, no armor left. The kind that felt dangerous, because if he didn't mean it, if I'd imagined this, I wasn't sure I'd recover. Then he reached for my wrist. His thumb brushed over the leather bracelet I always wore, slow and steady, like he was memorizing it. His touch was gentle, but the silence between us cracked wide open. You make it impossible not to feel something, he whispered. The sound of it, not shouted, not teased, but confessed, left me breathless. In that single sentence, the tide of everything we'd been holding back finally broke. I shifted closer before I could stop myself. His knee pressed to mine, his hand still warm against my wrist. My necklace pressed cold against my collarbone, but his nearness burned everywhere else. You don't get to say that, I murmured, my voice barely steady. Why not? His lips curved, but softer now. You feel it too, don't you? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Not with words. My eyes locked on his, searching for a way out, but all I saw was certainty. His certainty. And then he leaned in. Not all the way, not yet, but close enough that the steam of his breath mingled with mine. Close enough that my heart slammed in my chest like it wanted to leap free. The moment stretched so thin it had to snap. And when it did, it was with his lips brushing mine. The kiss wasn't rushed. It wasn't wild. It was quiet, like the waves. Soft at first, hesitant, then steady as though we'd been building to it forever. The sand was cool beneath me, the night air colder still. But Kai was heat and fire and home all at once. When we finally pulled back, he kept his forehead against mine, breathing unevenly. The sand may be cold, he whispered, echoing the line he didn't know I'd been thinking all night. But you're burning me alive. And for the first time, I didn't want to resist.